Well, our moms think we're funny.
Hi everyone, I'm Acomi.
Hey, this is Turk182.
Welcome to... I broke my fork.
I broke a string! Okay,
Wow.
she's kind of a cutie.
Yeah. Yeah, so welcome to Our Moms Think We're Funny.
I'm sorry. Why does it always happen when we're talking about it? You know, we just got the TV on, just for so we're not staring at each other, which is just really awkward. But there's always it all seems like, oh yeah, she's cute. Oh, she's hot.
Yeah.
She's good stuff. She's kind of spicy. You know.
always while we're recording.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
it's funny just because we're just serious, just horn dogs, you know. It's
exactly
no matter what we see, it's always that looks good. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
It's like, yeah, I tapped that. It's like this is the.
I was looking at a keg. What? Just saying. I'm an alcoholic on top of being sexist.
It's like, this is SpongeBob SquarePants. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean? I'm saying Sandy.
Right.
Something about Sandy.
I'm straight, but there's just something about SpongeBob's cum.
Oh, geez whiz. It's super absorbent.
Ew.
This is his sponge. He's a sponge.
Yeah, he is.
Can we start this one over?
No. No, we're keeping all this.
All right, well.
So the...
podcast to come in.
The night... podcast coming. The night is young. We've got these awesome cinnamon rolls.
Yep.
And, get the TV on mute as we do, so we can make random observations about stuff that people can't see, and we'll never know what we're talking about.
Oh.
And, so we decided we'd follow up from our previous two podcasts and talk about some of the strangest and most creepy and unsettling things that have happened to us over the years.
All right. And, it was actually my kind of topic I brought up to you, and I was like, I want to talk about some of the, because we all have weird things happen, you know, that maybe it makes a serious impact on me, but this was something that was shaking me to my core. Obviously, something that we remembered enough to be able to put it in the vault in our minds, the weird shit that we only open up one occasion.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'll start off with one since it was my topic. I had a waking nightmare once. I've only had it once, thank God. But I had a waking nightmare, and I've heard people say different things, like, what's that one thing is like a witch sitting on your chest or some shit like that? Where
like a demon sitting on your chest.
Yeah, which
sleep paralysis.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, okay. So...
Are we going to have to change channels?
I'm not even trying to watch this show, right? It's like Kill Bill's coming on after this, right? So...
No, I mean, I see what you mean. She is, friggin' adorable.
Yeah. But, and I'm like, well, you're sitting there, it's like there's a witch sitting on your chest and it's this or that. I'm like, I can't stand that old, kind of I don't know what you call folklore or myth type stuff or whatever. I'm just, But, so, this is when I was younger. I was in high school. And I think it was during the summer.
And 69?
I'm not that old, dude. So I was sitting there, and back then I had I had a phone, and it was on my nightstand, right next to my bed, right?
Was it your dad?
My dad's not a phone. Jeez. You can't buy me hot dog, man. So the phone was sitting there right near my head, and so it was one of those things where I could reach over and grab the phone. I didn't have to right now where my phone sits. I really do have to kind of roll over and kind of stretch and reach to grab my home phone.
Right.
Now my cell phone sits right next to my bed, but even still, I still have to in some way sit up to grab my phone to because I don't know, just maybe this the way it is. The cell phone sits, down. Anyway, so I grabbed the phone and I answered it, and my mom was calling me. She was at work and I'm asleep or whatever, and so I'm laying on my back, and my eyes are kind of open for a minute, and she's talking and she's saying something to me, and I guess in that brief moment between answering the phone and saying hello, I just kind of fell back asleep, but it was in my mind. I didn't realize it. So in my mind, I'm still seeing that I'm awake, and I'm sitting there like wide awake, and my bedroom door. I'm laying on my back, so my bedroom door is open, and I can see a shadow across the bedroom door from someone in the hallway.
Ooh, yeah.
And so she's talking to me, and she's saying something. She's answering, she's like, "Hello, hello," and I can feel, like, I don't really hear anything, but I can feel this presence of someone in the hall, and I can see the shadow is moving, and I'm trying to scream, I'm trying to say something, and nothing is coming out. And I'm like trying to talk, and of course I don't realize I'm asleep.
Right.
And the shadow is growing slowly, just growing, moving across the door, entering my room. And so she hung up, and when she hung up, it somehow snapped me out of it, and I woke up. And that was, like, at the time, it was pretty freaky.
Well, yeah.
Because I was like, there's someone there, and I can't move, and I'm trying to say something or whatever, but I realized that, I wasn't awake because my room door wasn't open. So I was asleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty scary.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that's very, very unsettling. See, I used to have a lot of nightmares like that when I was younger. Which, I mean, we've talked about that in the past couple of episodes. The audio is going to sound really weird because I'm moving my head around a lot. I was plagued by a lot of nightmares as a kid and ran into that kind of thing very, very frequently, but it's been a lot of years since that's really been a problem. And really, it's been the only nightmare I can remember in the past probably 5 or 6 years, honestly. I don't even know how long, was the one I was telling you about yesterday. So, and this was one that, like, rather than dreaming about it through the night, it was like I woke up and fell back asleep, and because I was kind of in that, like, that shallow phase of dreaming,
right,
I had the dream. So, and in the dream, I'm, like, getting ready for work, and, like, in the bathroom, and I'm doing, like, all the shaving and the deodorant and all that whole jazz. And I look on the counter, and, like, probably about 8 inches around, there's this huge fucking spider just standing on the bathroom counter. Which, as we've discussed in previous episodes, I'm not really freaked out by spiders unless they, like, look at me. Otherwise, it's like, you do your thing, I'll do mine, just, don't get in my bubble and I won't kill you. But this spider was very definitely in my bubble, but I look at this thing, and it's, like, ruby red, just like this deep blood red color, and, carved all over its body are runes. Like the dwarvish runes from The Hobbit or something like that. Just, like, all over its body, and the runes are glowing. And so it looked like something that was, like, summoned by magic. And, it's weird, because I don't usually dream about the stuff that I'm enthusiastic about, like the nerd stuff. I don't dream about, like, comics or superheroes or sci-fi or whatever.
Right.
I wish I could. I'd be super happy if I did, but I typically don't. So just seeing this thing that looks like it was, like, summoned by some kind of, like, magic spell or something was already kind of weirding me out.
And plus, you said it's like 8 inches. Now, we're talking about leg span, or we're talking about body?
I think it was like, shit, I'd say that was probably the body.
Holy shit.
It was a big fucking spider, man. Like, this thing, like, dwarfed a tarantula.
Okay, now see, in a situation like that, I don't want to stay there, but I'd be afraid to run because I know it's faster than I am.
Right, yeah. So, like, in the dream, I'm looking around for something big enough to kill it with, but it's like, pretty much the only thing that I'd be able to do that with would be, like, a college-sized dictionary. I need a big, heavy book before I'm going to trust it to kill this thing.
You need one, like one of those old, like, dictionaries you find at the library that's, like, like a 1.5 foot, like, thick.
Right, yeah. So that's what I'm looking for, and it's like, obviously, there's nothing like that in the bathroom. And so, like, I'm rummaging through my bathroom cabinet, just looking for something, and it's like, well, this is all just, like, like, friggin' things of body wash and deodorant. I'm not gonna fucking be able to kill this thing with any of that. So I stand back up, and I'm just trying to figure out what it is do I do, because it's like, I'm not sure as hell not leaving this thing. It could wind up anywhere. And then its thorax starts to, I might be using the wrong term, the body part, where the web spins. Is that thorax? It's not the abdomen.
I don't know.
I don't know. This is Acomi sucks at science. Everybody knows that.
Hey, I'm not a fucking that guy.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not an anthropologist.
Chicken pie, chicken pie, chicken pie pie.
Donnie says thorax.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so the body part where like the butt of the spider just starts swelling up like crazy, and it just pops.
Oh
and,
god, it's
like,
disgusting.
Like 30 baby spiders, which when I say baby, it's like it's a baby to this thing, but because of how big the parent spider is, all these things are like the size of like tarantulas or wolf spiders or something, just all over the bathroom counter. Just like 30 or 40 of them. And it's like, oh fuck, I gotta do something about this, it's gonna start nesting. So I start rummaging back through the bathroom counter again, because it's like, even if I can find a big enough book now, I can't kill all these things in one smack.
No.
And
You're not the tailor.
yeah. So it's like, well, even if I can kill some of them, that's just going to piss off the rest of them. So then I find, like,
Jimmy, no!
a can of, like, spray cleanser. And so I just start, like, spewing this spray cleanser all over the counter, all over the spiders, and it's like, it's killing some, but then more and more just seem to keep cropping up, and they just keep coming, and then I woke up before anything else happened. But that left me feeling uneasy for, like, the entire rest of the day.
I can imagine that.
So, yeah, that's like the only, like, really weird dream thing, I think.
So, this is going to be bizarre, and I swear to you, it's absolutely real. I swear to anyone listening to this, it's absolutely real. And when we post this, I'm actually going to tag my brother in this, and if he feels like chiming in and saying this is absolutely real, then, there you go. But, of course, you'd be like, of course he's going to say it is, because you're saying this. But anyway, because that's how all our viewers say. I'm going to listen to our moms think we're funny again.
There you go, adding words to it again.
I did that on purpose, though, at time. But no, he and I had a telepathic conversation one day. Now, it was very brief. Very brief. We had gone somewhere. I don't know if he'd gone to the flea market or what, but we were at his house, and we were sitting on the sofa watching TV. And I remember I was thinking about asking him something, right? And I can't remember what it was, but I was thinking about asking him something, and he's like, yeah. and I was like, okay. And then I stopped, and he stopped. And he was like, and we both kind of stopped for him, and it's like, I didn't say that out loud. He's like, you didn't say that out loud. And that was it. It was like, it's only happened that one time, right? And I know for a fact I did not speak those words. I was thinking about asking him this, right? And then he just replied.
Yeah.
And as soon as he did, we both realized that those words never actually came out of my mouth. Like, he didn't remember hearing them, and I don't remember speaking them.
Yeah.
Weirdest thing ever. It only happened once, but that was kind of bizarre.
That's pretty creepy, yeah. So, like, I haven't had a huge ton of, like, personal experiences with stuff, really. I've had a few. But, no, I've had a couple of friends who have, like, been through some shit, and, like, they're... Like, like, you can tell by their demeanor, like, they're really weirded out by the stuff that's happened to them. Like, it doesn't come across like somebody who's just bullshitting you, you know? Mm. But, let me see if I can think of some stuff that's happened to me. I don't want to make this, like, about them. Fuck them, they can get their own podcast.
Yeah.
These are my 4 listeners.
You can't come on my podcast.
I'm just saying.
You can't have my cornbread.
No, my brother. You gotta get your own. Fuck. What? Okay, there was one time that the whole family was driving back from church and we saw a UFO. That was kind of weird.
What?
Yeah, and like, I mean, we try to be pretty guarded about that stuff because you know how it is. I mean, most of the time you see something moving up in the sky and it's
bird or a plane.
Or a man in pajamas, yeah.
He's Nicolas Cage.
take me, my hero. No, it's like, it's typically just a plane. This was nighttime. We were driving back from church, and like at first we thought it was just a plane. That's how high up it was. It's just like that little blinking light up in the sky. And it starts getting lower and lower and lower as we're driving along, and then we eventually get low enough to see details on it. And it was this formation of lights like I've never seen before. And it was like 3 lights that like stacked together to form a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like 2 in the bottom corner, 1 at the top corner. And there were like smaller blinking lights surrounding it, and it just kept flying like lower and lower and lower, and was just like keeping pace with the car for several miles as we drove, and finally it like passed down over the tree line, and we have no idea like what happened beyond that, but like it definitely was not a plane. Like I recognize plane lights. I see a lot of them in the area that I live. Like they pass overhead a lot, but that was creepy.
When I was younger, and I don't remember it too well, enough to go in like a lot of details, but I remember for a couple of days there was a second sun in the sky. And we're not talking about like, it's the moon showing it during the day, or maybe everything was just right and we and it was like we were seeing Venus or whatever. No, this was like a second sun that like moved with the sun.
Right. Where was it in relation to the sun? Like right next to it?
I do. Like I said, I couldn't tell you. I just remember there were 2. For it was like 2 or 3 days. There were 2 suns in the sky. That was kind of weird.
That is weird.
Now, at the same time, the place that I lived at, you would have things that, and I know this isn't really that uncommon, but not a lot of people have experienced this, where it would rain on one side of the street but not the other. And I mean, obviously, if it's going to rain, right, especially if it's not going to be like wind, so it's a blowing rain, it's just a straight downpour.
Right.
You're going to have that. I mean, it's going to have to cut off at some point.
Yeah.
But it's still a weird thing to see where it's raining on one side of the street but not on the other side of the street.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like the wall of rain coming towards you?
I have.
Yeah, I love that. I actually like really think that's a cool thing to be in the middle of.
It's really interesting, especially like if you. I don't really see this happening like when I'm at home or in town, but when you're on the road and you're driving somewhere and you're driving into that wall of rain,
yeah,
and it's like it's all nice and sunny, and then up ahead it's dark and gray, and you just see that wall of rain, and you're just slowly driving into it. And it's the weirdest thing because it's not moving towards you, you're coming towards it, and it's just like if you could just stop and just look at it, as if it was I was gonna say a solid wall of it's a wall, but but it's like right there, and you're just driving into it. It's weird, and you just kind of enter it.
Yeah.
There was another incident that happened with my brother and I. So Ashton and I would get together, hang out, and I remember one night I was at his house hanging out. And he was driving me home, and it's maybe like 2:00 in the morning or so.
Yeah.
And he lived he didn't live out in the country, right?
Right.
He only lived like 1.5 miles away from me, and he lived 1/4 of a mile, maybe half a mile away from the mall. And so it wasn't that far away, and it was kind of like. It was like a subdivision, but it was like next to a slightly bigger subdivision. So this one was smaller, and it was kind of back a little bit. Now, further back, like down that way, you may have some small farms, like people that have like I've got like a 2 cows and a chicken, and that kind of stuff, and that and I grow like potatoes and corn or something like that, but not like a big farm, just like a little personal thing. Somebody had a couple of acres. We're leaving at 2:00 in the morning, or around that time. We get in his car, and as we're leaving, we hear this. We're like, you hear that? And we're like, what is that? And of course, the first thing on our minds is zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so, all right, so that was our first thing in our mind, right? Guess what the second thing was?
Probably somebody dying or something.
We gotta go find it.
Why? Have you no sense of self-preservation?
That's exactly why. We had to find out where it was coming from, so we knew which way. Like, oh, it's back that way. We're going this way. So we actually went and we had the windows down and we were driving down the road, just trying listening out, and we came to the conclusion it was probably a cow, like off in the distance somewhere. Yeah. But like I've never heard a cow just like moan like that, even if they're gonna moo, whatever.
Yeah.
But not like that. And we drove down. We never saw anything. And then it just kind of stopped. And that was it. I'm just like, oh, it's just.
That's just damn weird.
Yeah, it was just damn weird. We used to have a lot of weird shit happen to us. I told you that when we were I was gonna say younger, but like in high school and even out of high school, there was this one school that had a huge, like behind the school was this big playground, 2 playgrounds. So one that's this big wooden construct thing, right? That was almost, it had like these little branches that came off of, not branch, but these little sections that branched off in the center, and the center was like a picnic table kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then they had another like area that had like swings and stuff like that. And then they also had like 5 baseball diamonds. It was all like, and then a basketball court. They had like I guess you could play full court, but then also had like some rims on the side. Now that wasn't a part of the school. The school was just there, and then you had that whole area like a little slightly down the hill from it.
Yeah.
And we used to go back up in there, and we would like play hide and seek on the big wooden construct thing, and 10 o'clock at night or whatever. Because if you've never played hide and seek in the dark, semi-dark, you've got some of the lights that are back there, but you've got the and there was no police back there chasing us away or anything. But like the lights aren't shining on the baseball. Then we might have some lights back there. Like this one will turn on, this one will turn off, and then like half hour later they'll reverse.
Yeah.
So we go back there and in somewhat darkness would play hide and seek, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, hide and seek in the dark is so much fun.
But in the other part of it, there would be the swing sets. So we would go with another friend of ours. And we would go, well, like whoever was with us, we would go and we would swing on the swing set, right? And just kind of chill out and talk and whatnot. But where the swings were, there was a slightly wooded area, like, I don't know, maybe 100 feet or so away from the swings.
Yeah.
And so whenever we would swing, we would, because there was like, the fence, like the area was kind of fenced off. There, swings in the fence, and then there was the wooded area. Well, one of us would have to swing in reverse to watch the wooded area.
Yeah.
In case.
Oh, I remember this story. I know where you're going here.
In case Jason never came out of the woods. So we would take turns. And it's like who would face the other way. So that's not a big deal, right? You think about it, okay, that's really kind of stupid, but maybe something else might come out of the woods, right? You want to watch.
I do think it's funny that it was like specifically Jason.
It was specifically Jason that would come out of the woods.
Because it's like, I mean, what are you going to do when like Michael Myers comes out? It's like, oh no, we haven't prepared for this.
He's not a member of my family. I don't have anything to worry about. He only goes after his family members.
Oh, that's true.
Unless you get in his way.
Yeah.
I feel like, dude, I'm black. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. So we would face the opposite direction. One of us would, and then we would switch. So the problem with that, though, right, is that let's say that Jason did come out of the woods. Right. Well, the first thing you're going to do is jump out of the swing and run.
Yep.
Except for the person that's facing the opposite way who jumps out of the swing right towards Jason. So we would take turns, doing that, except for when it was our other friend's turn. And he wouldn't want to, because knowing that if something actually happened, he would be jumping. Either you have to like wait and slow yourself down, or you got to just, and of course we're going to just jump and run, right? Or you're just going to jump, and of course he's going to be waiting. He's going to just stick his machete out there, and you're just going to shish kebab right onto it, right? So he would always get pissed off and everything with his drum, but he's like, hope he does come. I ain't gonna say shit. Just let him kill you all. but he's gonna kill you too. I was like, why we all take our turns? Why is it so bad? You can't take your turn. If we all take our turn, like, so he shows up and everything, you can see shit. Like, dude, why you gotta be such an ass?
Uma Thurman's so cute.
Huh?
Uma Thurman's so cute.
Yeah, she is.
I like her.
So like I said, whenever I'd be with Ashton, there was some weird things would always happen.
Yeah.
And so we had that. So I'll tell you about another time that I was with him indirectly, right? And you might be like, well, maybe he's the problem there. Maybe he's like a fucking ghost trouble magnet. We had
the only common denominator here.
Yeah. Well, it's not me. I haven't had this shit happen when he's not around.
Well, there you go. That proves it.
Yeah. So we had gone out of town, and not going to get into the whole specifics of whatever, right? But we had gone out of town. We'd actually gone to Savannah. So I'm not sure if any of most people know a lot about Savannah, Georgia, but Savannah is filled with ghost stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are more ghost stories and ghosts in Savannah than there actually are living people. Right? I know you say like over time, but not that many people should be vengeful, though. I mean, some people died peacefully in Savannah. And it's not like I love Savannah so much, I'm going to come back and live here in my afterlife.
Savannah's not a place I enjoy being.
I'm not down. Well, part of it's just the heat. I don't like the heat.
Yeah,
but we hit the daiquiri bars up when we were there, which was kind of nice. So we were there, and he and we were sharing a hotel room, and we were there for like 2 or 3 days. So the first night, I was actually in the room by myself. He had stayed somewhere else, and that night when I went to go to sleep, I could not sleep. My head was filled with all sorts of just the most bizarre images you can think of. I mean, it was like my mind just kept going from one thing to the next. I couldn't tell you anything specific. It was just creepy, uncomfortable, unsettling stuff. And it was just flashing and moving. And it was like, and I just couldn't sleep. And I would wake up and try to get myself like, okay, and then whenever I tried to go back to sleep, it was like my stuff just kept filling my head and I could not sleep. And the whole time we were there, I was just uncomfortable. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
I was just like, I did not feel like I had no appetite. I was just not feeling good at all. I was miserable. When we're leaving and we're driving out of Savannah, right? As we were leaving Savannah, the further away we got, the better I felt.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have no idea what it was. It wasn't like I had ate anything bad because I hardly ate it. I was just not hungry. And for some reason, I just was not coming. That first night when I was in that room by myself, I just was that. After that, of course, he stayed in the room with me. And it just, I didn't have any of those visions or whatever.
Right.
But I still just, this whole uneasiness, I just wasn't, it was horrible. But when we were leaving, like the further away we got, the better I felt.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what it was. I don't know. Now, maybe I did have a bug. Maybe it was a bit of undercooked potato. I don't know what it was, but it was bizarre as hell.
Yeah. Like I never had any real experiences with it, but that hospital that I worked at last for my job, the one in Noak, that apparently has the reputation for being one of the most haunted hospitals in Virginia.
Really?
Yeah, and like there's 2 segments to the building. There's this old segment which was originally just the hospital, and it's like probably 150, 200 years old. It's a very old building.
Oh wow!
Like, oh man, I hated being in the elevator in that segment. But that was just the that got converted just to the education department, and then like the rest of the hospital's the big thing that you see now.
Was the elevator old? Is that what you liked? You hated it?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It was like rickety, and the doors were all brass, and like the buttons were all old. It was creepy as fuck to ride in. But so like you've got this really really old ass building attached to it now, and that's the education department. You've got the main thing, but then like I never put much thought to it, and I wasn't there long enough to really encounter anything creepy. But the guy who was like touring me and my team around the hospital, showing us where all the printers were and all that for repair, he was like, he told us this. He told us, this hospital's got the reputation for being the most haunted in Virginia, and we're like, okay, based off of what? And he's like, well, think about it. First of all, you've got a lot of age on certain parts of the building here. It's like, but think about how many people die in a hospital. It's like, there's a lot of lives lost in a hospital, and they can't all leave peaceably. He was like, and when you look at this hospital in particular, there's been a lot of suicides here, and he had personally witnessed like 2 suicides in the 10 years that he'd been there. He's like, people just decide that they've had enough, and they'll go up to the top of the parking garage, or just go up to the upper floors on the hospital, which obviously there's been like some concessions made to stop that from happening now. But like he's seen like 2 people commit suicide out by the parking garage there, and it's like, holy shit. So yeah, he claims to have seen some stuff, but like I said, I never did. But
Now, how old was this hospital?
the oldest part of the building, like I said, was probably about 150 years old, I want to say.
I was wondering if it was if it may have been one of those Civil War hospitals.
I don't think it's quite that old.
Okay, because then a lot of those they say have all kinds of of like spirits in them from.
The high school my mom went to, that was reputed for being haunted.
And there was I remember when I was growing up, that we would go, and I'm trying to think of where we were going. My mom would take me. So she had some friends that lived kind of back a ways. As a kid, anything that's not across the street, it just seems like it takes forever to get to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it may be like a 15-minute drive or whatever, but you had to go kind of back and outside the city. And there was this little convenience store. It was almost like a shack convenience store, and it was called like Mickey Mart or something like that. I just remember it had like an image of like Mickey Mouse on it, right on the sign. Anyway, and we would go through sometimes, and the light would be on. This was like, it was just like a little shack, like convenience store thing. So it didn't have like a dirt gravel parking lot, and like it had maybe 2 windows, something like that. Anyway,
yeah.
And I remember we went through one day, and it was closed. And a lot of times we were going through there, like going out to this woman's house at night, and like leaving at night. So we went by and it was closed, and I think it was like maybe like boarded up or whatever. And I don't remember if my mom told me. I think she did, or maybe she was talking to somebody else, or maybe I just heard the adults talking or whatever. But as I remember it, that I guess the reason the place was closed was because I guess someone had been killed there. I don't know if it was the owner or just someone that worked had been killed. And they had been decapitated, and their head had been set on the counter.
Oh shit!
And I never witnessed that, but like a impression of that place is like always been in my head, and and just like I was like, oh man,
oh shit,
yeah.
Yeah, apparently there was like 3 sisters. And I mean, I'm talking like way back when. This is like 100 years ago. There were 3 sisters at the high school in Christiansburg, and they had apparently they killed their little brother, drowned him in the bathtub, and then there was a few other kids around the school that they killed. So
holy shit.
Yeah, it was bad. There's a really good book called 3 Sisters in Black that talks about them. And I think that might actually be by a local author, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, no, that high school has a huge reputation for being haunted, and all the cleaning staff just talks about how there were certain wings that they would not go down, even though they're supposed to be cleaning the school. Once certain things happen, you don't go there. And they would talk about how I think every night at midnight there were certain doors that would just slam closed. And, of course, shit also got really creepy around, 3 a.m., stuff like that. But again, this is all stuff that I'm just hearing like second and third hand. It's not stuff I got to really experience myself. Yeah. I say got to, but it's not stuff that I actually experienced myself.
With that kind of stuff, you know how I feel about ghosts and that kind of thing. And I'll say what I've said before is, if I ever actually experienced it, I wouldn't deny it. Now, I may have had some minor incidences, whatever, that I do deny because it wasn't enough for me to be able to say conclusively, yep. But if I ever experienced it, I wouldn't deny. I'd be like, yep, it is true. I don't know how many of these other stories are true, but I've experienced this.
Was true,
right? But I can't really say I've encountered any of them, and so because of that, I'm still a skeptic.
Yeah, which is fair.
I don't know. Like I've always said, I want to stay in a haunted house, right? Spend that over in a haunted house.
No, not me.
I need somebody with me because if you say you're going to stay in a haunted house, the first thing people are going to do is they're going to want to fuck with you, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you say because I don't believe, right? Then they're like, oh well, this seems like a great time. Like no. If I'm going to believe, I really want to believe, not because you screwed around with me. So I want somebody there that. Well, one thing is, so if I say I saw something, they can be like, I saw it too. Right? And also to kind of like watch my back, because there could be some people that want to screw with you. But I'm curious to stay in one just so I can see, what's going on. Is there really something? But at the same time, let's just say that there are ghosts and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Do I want to open that door? So as of right now, I'm a skeptic, right? Do I want to open that door to myself to be like, now I'm a believer, I couldn't leave her if I tried, Because then, like right now, I can walk down those halls and be like, yeah, whatever, right?
Man.
But then once I experience, now it's like, now everything has taken a shift.
Right.
Do I want to expose myself to that shift?
I obviously view it a little bit differently than you do, and I think that's largely just part of my upbringing, because I was brought up in a very religious household, and we were always, taught that just angels and demons were a fact of life, and, we were not brought up in a household of skepticism at all. So I kind of view things a bit differently, and I'm not saying that I just, hand over fist believe what I was brought up to believe. I'm just saying that, 18 years of upbringing, it doesn't just, go away overnight either. But at the same time, it's I'm also not, I'm not in the same place as, Creature John was either.
Yeah.
Because, that was quite an experience, hearing him talk about his interactions and doings with the voodoo culture, and with his grandma being a higher priestess with voodoo and all that, and I mean, he obviously believed that shit, and you could tell he did because he was drunk, and so it's he's not bullshitting us. He's not just trying to tell a lie to sound spooky.
Well, I mean, he got into a disagreement with the other guy when the guy was like, oh, that's not. He's like, no, that is this. Man, I have seen shit that would turn you white. So.
Yeah, no, he was there was obvious fear in his voice, but yeah, so I don't know. Now all that said, that from looking at it from that perspective of this is the upbringing I've had, and I realize and I acknowledge that because that's the upbringing I've had, I'm not able to look at this completely emotionlessly or objectively. Right. So I say that knowing I can't approach this as fairly as a totally neutral party, and I get that. Oh wait, we're at a good point for an ad break.
So you're just gonna leave everybody just hanging, right?
Yeah, totally. If you guys stick around past the ad, you'll be able to hear me complete this thought.
That's how you're gonna just leave into it, just like you're saying. And here's something that hopefully isn't scary, unless of course you want it to be, and in which case, hey. Go sponsors!
Making it so hard for the editing.
Sorry.
I've been looking for the flatline part to know where to cut out for the ad break.
Dude, I love her coat. Well, I actually heard love her outfit in this. That is so awesome.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're back. we're at a really cool part in Kill Bill, which is still muted. But anyway, so
I was telling everybody, it's one thing when you decide that, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna, I don't want to go to the store to buy this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shop online. I'm gonna go to Amazon, right?
Right.
Because like either like they're not gonna have it there. They're not gonna have the one I want at Target or Walmart or whatever, or it's just gonna be more expensive.
Yeah.
And then you have to kind of decide. Okay, I'm still gonna pay taxes on this item, right? But let's say it's not like a Prime thing, or even if it is a Prime thing, right? I'm gonna have to wait at least a day, depending on when I order. If it's a weekend, I'm gonna have to wait till Monday to get this item that I want. Why not just go ahead and pay the extra $2 and now just take it home today? Right. Instead of, I'm just fucking with everybody because we left you on a cliffhanger. So, so go ahead, Acomi.
I was just going to let you finish your thoughts. Yeah, no, everything I would say was like a creepy or a supernatural experience or anything like that for me was based off of feelings, which I hate. I hate having to preface a story with that because, I'm
you know me, I hate feelings anyway.
Yeah.
I want to be straight up like Mr. Spock.
Yeah, like I am a very objective person, and I think that you need logic, not emotion, so I hate having to preface a story with that. But, like, everything I would say was a really creepy experience is based off of, like, something in my brain saying, this isn't right, this isn't okay. Extricate yourself from the situation. And like, so, like, no, I'm never gonna, I'm not gonna claim that I've seen a ghost or whatever or anything like that, which I don't, we've discussed this off camera many times. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in the spirits of the departed walking around. I do think that there are certain supernatural elements out there, and I'm not, I'm not gonna try to elaborate too much on it from there, because it's not really what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
But no, I don't believe in, like, the spirits of the departed walking around. But no, I just, like, I know that there have been times and places, like, I know there was a time when I was in a church at night, just because, brought up in a church environment, that happens, and I was there alone, in a church at night, and the lobby was fine, but I had to, like, step into the sanctuary to drop off some hymn books. Being in a dark sanctuary, late at night, that felt so creepy.
I don't understand this, right? Why is it that if you are a religious person, okay, a church should be a place of solace and comfort and warmth.
Should be.
But when the lights are out, that's the last place you want to be. Like, why is it that a church becomes the creepiest ass place when the lights are out, or when you're there alone? Every church, if you're there alone, is creepy as hell.
I hate it. I really truly hate it. Which I look at it differently now because I also have a very anarchistic approach to religion these days. Yeah, to church. Yeah, definitely.
Burn it all down?
No, God no. But what are you trying to do to me here? Trying to get me in trouble on my own podcast? No, but I mean, just, like, I don't view structure the way, or, like, structure or authority within church bodies the way most churchgoers would. But,
oh, look at me. I'm Acomi. I'm against structure and authority. And it doesn't feel good when somebody doesn't see you, does it?
Yeah, it was actually really funny. That made me laugh a lot. But yeah, no, I mean, like, and I've had some friends who have experienced the same feelings, like, went to the same church, ironically, for a while. So,
so they didn't go there for the service with her, ironically?
No. Fuck you, dude. No, like, ironically, coincidentally...
Look at me, I'm religious!
So, like, he... No, like, just by a strange coincidence, he went to the same church I did. We both experienced some of these, like, weird happenings there.
Gotcha.
And, like, his take on it was that, and, like, obviously he's kind of viewing it in a different light than you or I would, but his statement was that he believed that he experienced those feelings and that weirdness there because, the forces of evil aren't supposed to be in a church. Like you said, it's supposed to be a place of warmth and of comfort and sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And so, when you don't have people there actively praying and actively bringing the forces of good into a church, well, then obviously evil's going to run rampant because it can. Because it's allowed to. So that was his takeaway on that.
I don't know, because I mean, but you got all the religious symbols and the pictures of saints and all that kind of stuff. And it's supposed to be like holy and like not sanctified. What's the word I'm looking for?
No, sanctified is the word.
Okay, sanctified.
Sanctified means set apart.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry.
But,
I see sanctified, and I started thinking like Blues Brothers and stuff. But, yeah.
But, well, like, the whole symbol thing and all that, and, like, the pictures of saints, that's more of, like, a Catholic mindset anyway, so,
But it's supposed to be holy ground, though, right? It's been blessed and all that kind of stuff?
That's more of, like, an Old Testament kind of thing. Like, I can only speak from experience as a Protestant. So, like, Protestants have very, very specific views regarding, like, Catholicism and Catholic beliefs, as well as Old Testament and Old Testament beliefs. So, like...
I almost said something really sacrilegious there, but you said Protestant, I was going to be like, that's legal in Nevada. But I wasn't going to say that, but I just said I wasn't going to.
That's the best way to say something offensive is to say, I almost said this, but I didn't.
That's right.
So let's see, what was the other really...
I almost called Jinho.
It's racist Bane's cousin, sacrilegious Bane. You really want to leave those little boys around the priest? But yeah, no, I think pretty much all the, like, really creepy feelings I've had where it's just, like, I just feel like there's something off about it has been, like, in relation to church stuff. Because I know one time I was visiting a church, and I only ever just visited the one time. And, I mean, this was back when I actually, like, attended church. I don't really do that now. Like I said, I have different views of things than people typically would. But a coworker of mine, lots of years ago, invited me to his church, which turns out that they had set up in an abandoned asylum. Which just sounds like the premise to a friggin' horror movie, doesn't it?
Why would you do that?
I have no idea.
There was no other place where you could put up a church?
Right?
Like, the rent's really cheap here. Yeah.
So he's, like, inviting me, and it's just like, it's a coworker. I have to at least pretend to treat him civilly. I don't have those qualms anymore. Back then I did. Back then, a coworker would invite me somewhere I didn't want to go. I would feel like I had to go. Nowadays, somebody will be like, hey, I'm throwing a party at my house. I'll send you a Facebook invitation. I'll be like, great. And then they'll never hear from me again. I'll fake my own death before I go to that damn party. So, so then he, like, gives me the address, and he's like, okay, you'll know the building. It's the old St. Albans Asylum. And I was like, dude, what now? So, I went there. I was a good little coworker. I went there. He's leading me through the halls to where they hold their sanctuary. I have never felt like I needed to get out of the building worse than being in there. Which, I already don't like asylums. I think we've talked about that. And I think this was right around the same time that I'd watched a playthrough of Outlast, which all takes place in an asylum. Whole first game takes place in an asylum. So, like, I've already got a lot of negative feelings towards, like, asylums. And, I've done a lot of research on how, like, especially the older asylums, these 100-year-old buildings and stuff like that, it's, there's been a lot of, like, mistreatment and abuse of the inmates that have gone on. So, just walking through that hallway, everything in my brain was saying, you need to get out of here. You really need to get out of here.
I've had some moments like that where I've been in places and just like, I'm like, okay, I'm out. It's just the minute I can get out, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't like I felt like an evil spirit or whatever. It was just like, I was just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable here. And I gotta get out of here. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. And there's never been a point where, like, I've experienced these feelings at, like, a shopping mall or something like that, right. Or a grocery store, or even a church during the daytime. It's always been, like, these weird places or these weird situations where suddenly everything in my brain is just triggering a fight or flight response. So...
yeah. It's they say things like the like buildings like psychic activity will imprint upon things or whatever, and I've never really given it any kind of thought or even again me being the skeptic that I am, to where I'll be like, yeah, okay, I believe that.
Right.
You know, but I mean, I guess that's, you know, if you do believe in that, then, you know, it makes sense that there would be these things that would kind of like stick. You know, if it's something that that I guess is horrific enough or whatever that it would kind of. I think it's weird because I don't believe in those things, but I do kind of feel like there have been like times where like there's like you go into a place and it's just there's just this kind of like creepy feeling there, and maybe it's just the way it's all set up. Maybe it's the decor of it, you know. Like one thing I have a hard time with is I have a hard time with decor from the 60s.
Yeah,
like wallpaper and like cloth patterns for like furniture and stuff like that. I don't like that stuff. That stuff gives me the boo-boo jeebies. I do not like it. And just it's something about it. I don't know what it is. It just like I'm like, ugh. So if I was in a place that had that kind of like old furniture where the sofa pattern had that weird 60s look, and then the wallpaper, and maybe it was like some kind of like weird like brownish green that people for some reason thought looked really good because back then they only had like 3 colors in the spectrum, and I don't know.
Yeah, that was back when the real world looked like a Game Boy.
Yeah, and they had like shag carpets so deep that you had to wear waders, you know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're like all the sunniest people in the world were in there. I'd be like, oh, I got to get out of here. So maybe it's what it is. Maybe it's all about just the look and feel of it.
Right.
And I know mom's asked me to go to her church sometimes to set things up or whatever, and we're in there, and I'm just like, even like upstairs in the classrooms,
right?
Like when we did the film and we had to go, like just some parts of that place, it's just a building, but it seems almost like they when they lay it out, they're like, how's this look? I don't know, man. This I feel this feels kind of comfortable. Can we
make it a bit creepier?
Yeah, it's like, can we? I don't know, like maybe loosen like one of the floorboards here. Can we do that? Maybe slightly like twist the door frame so this door won't shut all the way, you know, or maybe it'll only shut properly like in the winter, but but in the summer when the wood swells it won't latch, whatever it is, like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever felt comfortable, like I said, in a church when there's no one there.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Or even like you could be like in the middle of Sunday service, right? And like the entire place is filled, and you've got to go to the bathroom, and you've got to go to like one of the back rooms where you have like Sunday school. Like, I don't feel comfortable even this. It's something about it just feels weird. Oh man, it's just like it's maybe it's because it's so empty and quiet.
I guess so. I mean, like, and it's especially creepier with like older buildings too.
You know what it is? It's because whenever they make churches, right, very unless it's the church is absolutely brand spanking new, right?
Right.
That everything in there is donated. So you always have old furniture and old bookcases and stuff like that, and that's where it is. It's like everything in there is just so old. It's like oh my goodness. And it's like maybe that's where it's just everything in there just feels so old. Because I mean, honestly, I don't want the church I go to. But they're like, so we spent $1 million in this church. We're like, what? No. It's like, damn it, Joel. So
we can't let the homeless in. That carpet's new.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm gonna be like, yeah. So here's our new $10,000 church. We're like, we can raise some more money. So maybe that's where it is, that there's like so many kind of older things in there that's what actually makes it feel kind of like off-putting in sections.
Maybe so. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that like there's been a lot of times, and it is mostly when you're alone. There's been a lot of times where I've just been like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
It feels like something is watching me. I want to be out of here.
Is it Rockwell?
He could be. Is he haunting churches these days?
Oh, he's not never seen a career, so who knows?
What's that? Hello? Oh, hi, Rockwell. What's that? Oh, yeah, he says, fuck you, Turk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know what? I created this podcast with my good friend Acomi. And, you know, our daddies didn't have like who owned like a big podcast like recording company didn't just give us a chance. They're like, oh, you guys podcast so well, and it's like we're like hello everyone and welcome to the podcast. You know, it's like we aren't putting on any fake accents. Fuck you, Rockwell. Why are we picking on him? I don't even know this guy. Is he even still alive?
Poor guy. I don't know if he is or not. This is probably going to be what pushes him to commit suicide.
No, I know the perfect place for you to go. And if you decide to do that, I'll just be down the ground and be like, Philip! Come on, man. You know, jumping off the building of an asylum, you gotta reference Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I'm like, dude, I'm watching a movie, and I'm like, okay, Patricia Arquette, can you please not shrill scream so loudly? I don't want to say Philip too, but you're like, look at me, I'm like, Philip! Not, I'm like, dude, there are pods of whales that are like screaming right now.
Like, camera cuts over to a group of dogs at a poker table playing, going, Jesus Christ, what is that? God! Do you have a TV going in the next room? Ah!
So that's it, I'm out. I had a straight flush, but I'm out. I'm out. I'm out!
Raggy.
But, you know, yeah, I've had some weird things like that happen. I'm trying to think some other like kind of odd things that have had happen to me. I remember once I think my mom called me once, and I heard her call me. This is back when I was at her house, and I heard her call me. I was like, just a minute, and I was like, I'll be down there in just a minute, and I went downstairs. And she wasn't even at home.
Oh, jeez.
I remember that happening, and I was like, huh.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I know.
But I mean, that could have just been, you know, my mind playing tricks on me. Like that time I went trick or treating, and you know, we were robbing little kids for bags.
Are we still on for that this year for Halloween?
We're robbing little kids for bags?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Just want to like jump out of the bushes and scare little brats.
Yeah. Yeah. So, sorry. I was referencing the Ghetto Boys song, My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me, and then you were like taking somewhere else. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, yeah, it's cheaper than buying candy.
Right.
It's like Troy McClure. I've been reading a lot of scripts lately. It's cheaper than going to the movies. But yeah, so I mean, I've had some weird things like that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing that definitively would make me say I believe in X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Now I will
fair.
say, I think I told you this once before, and maybe said this on like the game bar, that one day I was outside just sitting on the porch, right?
Right.
This was when I was in high school. I was outside just kind of sitting on the porch. I don't even know what I was sitting on the porch doing or waiting for somebody or whatever. And I'm sitting there and I don't remember what I was doing, but I was looking at something. And I remember this small dog came running up to me, right? I could see it out of the corner of my eye. Mm-hmm. This small dog came running up. And it didn't startle me or whatever. It was just like this small, I was like, oh, where's dog coming from? And I looked up and there's nothing there.
Oh, jeez.
Now, that was probably just like, you know, just like you see things out of the corner of your eye, whatever.
Right.
And it's probably one of those. Now, completely different from the time I saw the box in the road. Now, that was because I was sleep deprived.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's completely different.
Sleep deprivation is not good.
And I remember a long time ago, I was actually going to write a story, but I never could, like, kind of really flesh it out. And I think I was going to call it, like, From the Corner of My Eye. But basically, it was about this guy. You know, you sometimes see things out of the corner of your eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was about a guy who saw something out of the corner of his eye. Of course, you know, every time you turn your head, it's like, oh, what is that? There's nothing there.
Right.
And he keeps happening. So he he just stops, and he has to train himself to not look, not turn his eye, not turn his head, but just keep focusing straight ahead, but then let whatever it is there. And by doing that, he realizes there's like this shadow world, right? That if you look directly at it, you don't see it.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't look directly at it, you can see these creatures or these beings, whatever, moving in your peripheral out of the corner of your eye. But of course, when you see something, your instinct is to turn and look. So you have to really just focus and not do that. And then, of course, he sees that, you know, they're trying to harm him.
Yeah.
And which, of course, then makes him, like, you know, turn and look.
Right.
But like I said, I never could really, like, flesh it out, like, what I wanted to do with it. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting because, you know, then if you read the story, and then next time you see something out of the corner of your eye, and you're like, look, and you're like, oh, wait, look, maybe is there something there? Maybe, you know. Because there's only so long you can not look at something before you have to look.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, I've had like, I always just take weird things to be just an occasional, you know, weird thing that happens, and let that be that.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think the only other really creepy thing that happened, when my first niece was like brand newborn, like she was super, super young. Like I don't think she could quite support her own head at that point. And one night I was holding her and she was just staring up at the ceiling past me. And I would like kind of try to like move myself to where she would be looking at me, and then she would be like craning her head around trying to look past me. So she was staring at like something on the ceiling, and I didn't see anything up there. That was creepy as fuck.
No, you know, she probably had that, that little kid vision thing.
Yeah.
Because they
Haley Joel Osment vision.
I was thinking that, because babies, they know they're like, they're the smartest creature. They have the secrets of the universe, and they lose them when they get older.
I refuse to believe that.
I'm screwing up, Jaden Smith's like whole thing about babies. But yeah.
We should stop teaching kids history and start teaching them about the future.
Yeah, the day we do that is the day I learned Terrence Howard math. See, that's exactly why he was no longer in any of like the Marvel Universe movies.
Right.
Because imagine in like Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Endgame, when they've got to do the time travel, and they're like, okay, so help me figure this math out. And it was like, well, 1 + 1 is actually still 1. And they like they go to time travel and the whole universe just splits in half. It's like they jump back in time, next thing you know, like they're in like Justice League, like, what the fuck do we do?
Justice League.
We completely ruined our universe.
Gotta be careful there, guys. They can smell fear. Oh man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going to remain a skeptic until something happens that demands that I acknowledge it. You know?
Yeah. And I think that makes sense.
In which case, I will readily acknowledge it. So,
now,
what just happened here was a miracle. And I want you to fucking acknowledge it.
Now, all that said, I'm not going to spend the night in a haunted asylum with you or wherever
really?
You're talking. Hell no, dude. See, this goes back to there's a difference between fear and caution. I'm going to play cautious because until I have reason to believe that it's safe to do that, I don't think I want to take that chance.
Okay, well, here's the thing that I always get to is ghosts can't hurt you.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't believe in ghosts.
Right, what I'm saying, ghosts can't hurt you. They have no corporeal form, right?
Yeah.
Poltergeists are different.
Yeah, they'll fuck you up.
Yeah. So as long as it's just a ghost, you're cool in the gang. They might do some scary shit to you, but remember they can't hurt you.
Yeah.
They cannot physically touch you. Now, poltergeist is something completely different.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. If poltergeist exists, I don't want to fuck around with the poltergeist, right? Especially on one of those rapey entity poltergeists, right? That's not something I want at all. But you know, like
you don't want paranormal sex experiments or whatever that movie was we saw.
Did we watch Paranormal Sex Experiments?
Yeah, we didn't do a Let's Watch of it, but we watched it.
That was the one with the chick was under the desk, right? In the beginning?
Was that it? I thought that was The Spy Who Sexed Me. No, that was Paranormal Sex Experiments. Yeah, because they had that cake that said "Welcome Home" or something like that, but they misspelled it.
God, I remember kind of watching it, but I don't remember like what did the chick inherit a house or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. I don't. Only thing I remember is the girl under the desk, which was so impractical. Everything about that scene was impractical. I'm like,
and that teacher who's still like fully clothed.
Right. And it's like, how is she under doing something too? Like,
oh God.
Yeah. No.
But you know what? I think that's probably a pretty good note to end this on.
Why do we have to leave it on paranormal? Can we just say something else so we don't leave it on paranormal sex experiments?
No.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I was waiting for it. Fine.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.